Alright, let's go. Number 10. Cosmic inflation. Something was already there. Here's the first problem with the Big Bang. It doesn't explain where it came from. In the early 1980s, physicist Alan Guth proposed a radical addition to the theory, an era called cosmic inflation, where space itself expanded at an incomprehensible rate in a fraction of a second. Not objects moving through space. Space itself stretching so violently that distant points flew apart faster than light could ever travel between them. No physics law broken. The fabric of reality simply grew. But that expansion didn't come from nothing. It required a pre-existing field, a form of energy already embedded in the structure of space before the Big Bang ever fired. That means the Big Bang may not have created everything. It may have only transformed something that was already there. Think of it not as a beginning, but as a detonation triggered by an unseen fuse that was already lit. If inflation is correct, then our universe didn't start with creation. It started with change, and whatever existed before that change is still completely unknown. Number 9. The Big Bounce. A universe that refuses to die. What if the Big Bang wasn't a beginning at all? What if it was a rebound? Multiple frameworks in theoretical physics, from loop quantum gravity to scalar field cosmology, converge on the same haunting idea. The universe may have once been contracting, collapsing inward, growing denser, hotter, more compressed with every passing moment until it hit a physical limit it could not cross. And then it bounced, exploding outward into what we now call the Big Bang. This is known as the Big Bounce, and if it's correct, then our universe has no true origin. It has a cycle: expansion, contraction, collapse, rebound, expansion again. Before our universe existed, another universe already lived and died. Picture everything we know, every galaxy, every star, every second of time compressed into a final point of unimaginable density, and then erupting again, into a new reality. The Big Bang was not a birth. It was a continuation. Number 8. String theory. Reality in a different form. String theory proposes something even stranger than a bounce. At the deepest level of reality, it suggests that what we call particles, electrons, quarks, everything, are not points in space. They are tiny, vibrating strings of energy, and they exist across more dimensions than we can see. In this framework, the Big Bang was not the origin of the universe. It was a phase transition, a moment when reality shifted from one form into another, like ice becoming water, becoming steam. Before the Big Bang, existence may have been real but completely unrecognizable, compressed into higher dimensions, governed by physical laws we've never observed, structured in ways no human mind has ever pictured. Our universe is not the first version of reality. It is just the current version, a new configuration of something that was already there, folded, compressed, waiting to unfold. And string theory doesn't just suggest this happened once. It suggests it may be happening constantly, across dimensions we cannot access. Number 7. The quantum fluctuation. The universe from nothing. Here's where it gets philosophically violent. Some physicists suggest the universe emerged from nothing. But here's the trap, and it's a big one. In quantum mechanics, nothing is not truly empty. The vacuum of space is not still. It seethes with energy flickering, fluctuating, producing tiny bursts of particles that appear and vanish in fractions of a second. Some models propose the universe itself began as one of these fluctuations, a random event in a quantum vacuum that, instead of collapsing back into nothing, kept going. But here's the part that should stop you cold. A quantum vacuum is not nothing. It has properties, it has geometry, it obeys laws, which means even nothing had rules. And if nothing had rules, then those rules existed before the universe did. The real question isn't where the universe came from. It's where the laws came from that allowed a universe to appear at all. Those laws may still exist, outside everything we can observe. Number 6, the no-boundary proposal. Time didn't exist before. Stephen Hawking looked at the question differently, and what he found was more unsettling than any answer. According to his no-boundary proposal, time itself may not have existed before the universe. Time, like space, may be a product of the Big Bang, something that emerged with the universe, not before it. Which means asking what came before is like asking what lies north of the North Pole. The question doesn't fail because we don't know the answer. It fails because the question itself may not be valid. There was no before. Not because nothing existed, but because the dimension we used to define before didn't exist yet. No time, no causality, no sequence of events. Reality simply exists without a beginning. And somehow, that is more terrifying than any origin story. Because it means the universe doesn't need an explanation. It just is. Number 5. The multiverse. One bang among infinite many. Our Big Bang may not have been special. In models of eternal inflation, the field that drove our universe's expansion never stopped everywhere at once. It keeps going, generating new regions of space, each collapsing into their own Big Bang, each becoming a separate universe. Ours was just one of them. A bubble in an infinite ocean of bubbles, each expanding, each isolated, each governed by potentially different laws of physics. Before our universe began, something larger already existed. Not a universe, something above universes, a structure so vast that our entire cosmos, 93 billion light-years across, is nothing more than a single point within it. Imagine standing in a forest and thinking you're looking at all the trees in existence, then realizing the forest goes on forever in every direction. And every tree is a universe. That is the multiverse. And if it's real, our Big Bang wasn't the beginning of everything. It was barely a whisper. Number 4. Brain collisions. Universes crashing into each other. In some versions of string theory, our universe doesn't exist in isolation. It exists on a surface, a membrane, or brain, floating within a higher dimensional space. Other brains exist nearby, invisible, parallel, moving, and sometimes they collide. When two brains make contact, the energy released is catastrophic, a shockwave of heat and matter flooding into existence across the entire surface. That collision is the Big Bang, not a creation event, an impact event. Before our universe began, there were already vast, higher dimensional structures in motion, drifting toward each other across dimensions we cannot enter or observe. Picture two invisible worlds, flat as infinite sheets, moving toward each other across a dimension you cannot see. The moment they touch, everything begins. Every particle, every force, every second of time, born from a collision between things that already existed. Number 3. The emergent universe, a reality that always was. This theory doesn't ask what came before the universe. It removes the question entirely. The emergent universe model proposes that the universe never truly began. It existed in a slow, static state for an infinite stretch of time, unchanging, suspended in a kind of cosmic stillness. No expansion, no contraction, just existence. Until something shifted. A tiny instability. An infinitesimal disturbance in a perfectly balanced system. And everything that had been still for eternity began to move. The Big Bang, in this view, is not a birth. It is a phase transition, like a supercooled liquid that sits perfectly still until a single vibration sends it crystallizing into ice in an instant. Something existed forever, silent, stable, waiting. And then one moment ended the infinite quiet. That moment became everything we know. Number 2, the pre-inflationary quantum state, all possibilities at once. This is the strangest entry on this list, and it may be the closest thing to the truth. Some modern theoretical frameworks suggest that before the Big Bang, the universe existed in a quantum superposition, a state where every possible version of reality coexisted simultaneously. Not just one universe waiting to be born, all universes. Every configuration of matter, energy, space, and time existing and not existing at the same time. No structure, no location, no past or future. Only a vast haze of probability. And then, one possibility became real. Our possibility, not because something chose it, not because it was inevitable, but because quantum systems collapse. And when this one collapsed, it became 93 billion light-years of space, 2 trillion galaxies, and every moment from the Big Bang to right now. One outcome drawn from an infinite lottery. That's what you might be. The result of a probability that didn't have to land here, but did. Number 1, the truth we may never know. Every theory on this list is built from the same material. Human mathematics, human logic, human physics. Laws discovered inside this universe, applied to a question about what existed outside it. And that is the fundamental problem. Our physics breaks down at the earliest moments of the Big Bang. There are no testable models for what happened before approximately the first fractions of a second. Wikipedia. Beyond that boundary, the equations don't fail because we haven't solved them yet. They fail because they may not apply. Whatever existed before the universe may not have had space, or time, or energy, or any property that fits into a human equation. The beginning of everything may be something we are structurally incapable of understanding, not for lack of intelligence, but because the tools we use to understand anything are themselves products of the universe we're trying to look behind. We are inside the box, trying to describe what existed before the box, using a language the box created, and that more than any black hole, more than any dying star, more than the cold silence between galaxies. That is the most terrifying thing in all of science. Not that we don't have the answer, but that we may be the wrong kind of mind to ever find it. Outro. These 10 theories are the best our species has ever produced, and not one of them is certain. The next video goes even further. What do physicists say could exist outside the universe entirely? Not before it, outside it. That one will change how you see everything. Subscribe. You won't want to miss it.